So you're thinking about moving to the Willamette Valley, but you don't want to live in Salem? Well, there's lots of small little towns in the area that are great options for you. And today we are checking out Silverton, Oregon. So like always, we'll walk around town and chat a little bit, and then we will look at a few houses in a few different price ranges. So let's get right to it. Well, if you're new to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living here in Salem, Oregon and the Silverton, Oregon area, then hit that subscribe button so you can be the first to learn about the current market here in the area. My name is Ryan, and I love helping people just like you who are thinking of moving to the Willamette Valley. So whether you need to move in a day, a week, a month, or a year, feel free to give me a call, text, or email. I'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to the area. And like we mentioned in the intro today, we are talking about Silverton, Oregon. And we started off at a weird spot. It is a little place called Danger Hill. It's not the actual name of the hill, but they put up a sign that's been there my whole life, I believe, that says Danger Hill right in front of it. So it's been affectionately named Danger Hill ever since. And as you can hopefully tell by me walking around, we're going through residential area. We're gonna hit downtown here in just a few blocks. Silverton is not a very big town. Sorry, a little distracted, just making sure I don't get hit while I'm crossing some of these roadways. But Silverton is about 11 to 12,000 people in population. There's not a ton going on here. It's one of these small little towns. It's off the main roadway. It's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to Salem, depending on where you're going. And it's a little ways off of any of those main highways, and definitely about 20 minutes off of I-5. So you don't get a lot of people just coming through here. You definitely won't be driving through Silverton unless you're planning on going to Silverton if you're not from the area. But as far as we go, we are a little bit east of Salem, about 13 miles, and we're right up against the foothills of the Cascade Mountain Ranges. So the main part of Silverton that I'm in now is the downtown area and some of the residential area around it. We're at the valley floor here in the Willamette Valley. But as soon as you leave this small little area, you're going up into the foothills. So down here on the valley level is kind of the flats of Silverton. And then you guessed it, the Danger Hill, it goes straight up. I think it's a 13% incline, which is why they put the Danger Hill sign up. And the rest of Silverton is up in the hills, which gives you a lot of variety, gives you a lot of really good views, but also makes some of the houses around here very expensive compared to some of the other areas in the Willamette Valley. And we are now transitioning from that residential area. You saw we passed a bank here, and we are into the downtown area. You'll see it as we walk along, but it's not a huge area, really just 2 blocks wide, 3 blocks deep. As for schools in the area, there's only one high school. That's going to be aptly named Silverton High School. And there are a lot of elementary schools and middle schools that feed into the area. So around Silverton is a very rural farming community. And as such, the community really extends a long ways past the city limits. So the middle schools can be quite a ways away. Well, the middle schools and the elementary schools can be quite a ways away from the city limits. So you get quite a few of these little elementary schools that just feel like a little country, kind of an old-fashioned school where there's not that many kids that go there. Victor Point and Central Howe are good examples of these. But all of these little schools all feed into the Silverton High School. But there are 10 elementary schools and 8 middle schools, and some of those are the same schools, just to give you an idea. But here we are in the downtown area, right off of Main Street. We're coming on to the stop sign. So I'm going to turn you off and turn you back on when I get to the other side. Okay, well that was the main downtown area of Silverton, and the downtown area runs along Silver Creek, which goes through Silverton, Oregon, and that's the creek right there. And the downtown area runs to my left and right, to east and west along that creek, and the creek obviously goes through the entire town. A pretty integral part of the town here, and of course that comes from up higher in the mountains on the east side of Silverton. But that creek and a lot of other things here in Silverton do drive a little bit of tourism in the area. You actually hear people coming from all over to come to Silverton to see some of the different things in the area. And there's a Renaissance fair called the Canterbury Renaissance Fair, and this happens 2 weekends every year in July. I've never been there, not quite my thing, but it's fairly popular, and I have some friends that go to it every once in a while. And the fair gets a lot of traffic. There's a lot of people that come from Portland and the Eugene area to go to the fair, and I'm sure all other places as well. Then another popular spot here in Silverton is going to be the Oregon Gardens. The Oregon Gardens, of course, is what it sounds like, a garden here that has a lot of native plants and shrubs and bushes that you can go look at and walk through. Very beautiful and well manicured, of course. There's also a event meeting spot at the gardens, so you'll see quite a few weddings there or bigger business events happen. I'm going to a wedding there later this year, actually. And then the Oregon Gardens also does quite a few community events. They do fireworks every year for 4th of July, but they do it the day before on the 3rd of July, so you can still go other places for your main firework event show. And then they usually have some sort of winter event in December, and this isn't just a one night, more the whole month of December. You can go there and look at lights in the garden, and some years they have ice skating, and some years they do, I think they call it the snowless tubing down one of their hills. Definitely a popular spot. I definitely went there a few times on field trips when I was in elementary school, and one of my grandmas loved taking me and my sister there, so I've been there numerous times. It's been a few years, but definitely when I was younger, I was a frequent visitor there. There are two really popular parks here close to Silverton, and one is going to be the Silverton Reservoir, which is just a little bit east of Silverton, not even a half mile out of town. Very popular for kayaking, paddleboarding, fishing. In the summer, quite a few people go swimming there and things like that. There is a cool new business that started a few years ago, I believe, but they actually will be there, and you can rent a paddleboard or a kayak from them, so you don't have to bring your own, and they're just on site there most of the summer, so you can rent from there. I think I'm at a good spot to turn around just to give you guys a little bit more review. And this house right here behind me off of Main Street is one of those classic houses here in Silverton with the terraced yard. Always grew up wondering how they mow those. I'm pretty sure they just go straight down with a push lawnmower. But as you can tell, you go from the downtown area to residential really quickly, and you get some really cool areas here. But back to the parks. The other most famous park in the area is, of course, Silver Creek Falls, and that's just 15-20 minutes outside of Silverton. And if you haven't heard of it, you should look it up. People come from all over to go look at it. There is a very high concentration of beautiful waterfalls, and we're not just talking like little 5-foot waterfalls, like 80-foot, 100-foot tall waterfalls. Very beautiful. Definitely recommend going in kind of the springtime if you want to see the best water flow over some of them. And it just gets beautiful. Some of them are a little less impressive in the end of summer, August area, when there's not quite as much water in the hills. No matter what time you end up coming, it'll be a good time over at Silver Creek Falls. And there's lots of other things to do there. And as you expect with a lot of the smaller towns, they have quite a few community events and a little bit more community cohesion than the bigger cities like Salem does. So Silverton is no different. They do a lot of things to support their small businesses, especially the small businesses that are downtown. So every month they have what is called First Fridays, where all the businesses in the downtown area will stay open later, and a lot of the restaurants will have live music and special entrees and dinners on those First Fridays. So if you are in town on the first Friday of any month, I definitely recommend sticking around, maybe hanging out a little bit later than you normally would. The second community event that you should know about for Silverton that is very popular in the area is called the Davenport Days. And I'm not originally from Silverton, I'm from the Salem area, so I never really knew what it was about. But Homer Davenport is the most famous person to ever come out of Silverton, and he was a political cartoonist, but fairly influential. But they honor his legacy by having the Davenport Days, and a very unique community event. They do parades, they have a car show, live music. It's just over one weekend. They have arts and crafts, lots of kids activities, a fun run. They do Two very unique events. One is a cartoon contest, and the second unique event about the Davenport event is going to be the Davenport races, which if you're a little more old-fashioned, you might recognize what the Davenport is. It's a couch, and so essentially they have couch races up and down Main Street. So definitely a very unique event. Would recommend checking that one out. Well, I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of what it's like to live here in Silverton, Oregon, and gives you a little bit better of a feel of what this little community is about. But for now, let's hop into a few houses in the area. Well, the first house we are checking out today is going to be the starter house here in Silverton. Now, we are still down here on the valley floor. We're not up in the hills at all. And there are a lot of these tiny little cottages in Silverton. And this little blue one right here is the one that's for sale right now. But as you can tell, there's one across the street that's about the same size. And they are just these tiny little cottages. They're really meant as the starter homes here in Silverton. And that's how you get your foot in the market. And a lot of them are rented out, but again, very close to downtown, close to your grocery stores. There's a Safeway and a Ross, the only two grocery stores here in Silverton. But this house right here is listed right under $315,000. It is just a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's under 900 square feet. I think it's 876 square feet. The price per square foot on these is usually pretty high because they're so small, and there's still some value in the land. And this one, I think, right at $360,000. So again, very small. It doesn't look all that impressive. They need to work on the roof a little bit, it looks like, but it is fairly nice on the inside, nicely updated. So a lot of these houses are pretty old. The little cottage we were talking about was built in 1915, which is not very uncommon for older houses in this area. So we'll get a lot of older houses like that, but the next one we're going to check out is a new construction. So let's get right to it. And like I mentioned, the next house is in a new development here in Silverton. Now, there's not a ton of new development, but there are a few in and around town, and this is one of the bigger ones, and this one is still currently under process. So there are some houses that have already sold, some houses that are being sold, and some houses that are to be constructed. So there's quite a few actually that are still planned in this development. There's actually a city park that's going in. It's going to be a cute little town, it's going to be a cute little neighborhood, excuse me. And definitely quite a few things to see when you're in and around this little area. But anyways, the house that's for sale that I wanted to mention is this gray, darker blue one here, right here. It is a good moderate price here in Silverton. It's listed at $465,900. It's a cute house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths, and it has 1,700 square feet. Let me check. It has 1,713 square feet in it, and the price per square foot is right around $270 per square foot. So it's a nice little house. Again, I think this one down here is also for sale. It's a little bit more expensive. It is almost the exact same size, but they added a little bit of a premium to it, probably because it's a single level versus the stacked there, and that one also comes with a bigger lot size. But as you can tell, pretty new community. All the houses built in the last year or two, and then this whole green space area is going to be built on also. So if you're watching this video and you're a few months, few years down the line, there might still be new construction happening on here in this community. Again, one of the great things about living in new construction is you get that beautiful brand new house with all the new features to it, and you get a really nice house with a good warranty usually. So usually a little less maintenance up front, and all those systems are brand new and don't have to worry about them breaking down. Well, we are coming up on the next house here in northern Silverton, and this is a really older, established, quiet neighborhood, and you're still walking distance to downtown, but you're gonna have to go up a hill to get, or well, you're you're gonna have to go up a hill to get here or down the hill to get to downtown. Definitely up a little bit of elevation here. And this house right here, this cute little green one, is the house that's currently on the market for sale in this neighborhood. Again, they pop up every once in a while, not all the time in this area. There's not usually a ton of houses for sale in Silverton in general, but this one, very similar price to the new construction. We're at $490,000, just a little bit less. I think they took $100 off the price there. But this one's a little odd. It's a 4-bedroom, but only has 1 bathroom, which is a little bit of a downside, but if it works for you, it works for you. Very cute house. Compared to the last one, this one's at almost a half an acre. So you get a lot more land, a lot more space, and just a completely different neighborhood feel than you got at the new construction house, which is why I really wanted to show off these two. Very similar prices, but you can get drastically different things here in Silverton, Oregon, depending on what kind of feel, what kind of neighborhood you want to be living in. So back to this house, it's 1,571 square feet, which takes the price per square foot to $311. And hopefully you could tell, these are not like your standard houses. Like that house, very custom. The house we're looking at, very custom. The houses around it are very different. So you don't get your cookie cutter houses. They're all different, very unique. A lot of fun, different architectural styles. And again, lots of room and very quiet up here. Almost feel loud just me talking to you guys on the camera. Here off to the side of the house has the detached single car garage. And again, a lot of that behind it is this house's property. It might be dividable, it might not be. Definitely room to build an ADU or something back there if you're looking to develop the property a little bit more. So lots of options with this one, but really just wanted to feature the neighborhood. And this area of town, very desirable. Lots of people trying to get into these kinds of areas. I mean, Silverton just in general is very unique and very popular, but specifically these areas a little bit farther away from downtown, up on the hills, not in the flat parts of Salem. That's it for this one. Let's get on to the last one. Well, for the last house of the day, we're looking at a pretty cool house, but to start off, we are just right next to the Coolidge-McLean Park, which is a really nice park here in Silverton. It's where the Homer Davenport Festival is. That's not like the races going on in the downtown streets, but a lot of it happens at the park right there. And this house is the one here on the left behind the hedge that you can't really see, unfortunately, at this point. You'll see it once I get up to the driveway here. This is an old historic house built in 1935. Definitely not your standard house, as you can see. Very unique. Has that cedar shake roofing, has the turret style front door, the brick, oh, I forget what it was called. It's a clinker brick and slumpstone. I don't even know what that means. I've never seen it on any other houses before, but this one has it. Very unique, often called the fairy tale house. I've come to this park numerous times, and you always seem to notice this house as you're walking by. It has a very also unique driveway with the steps in the middle, and you can drive up either side. But anyways, just a fun house. Not really, obviously, you're not going to find another house like this one in the neighborhood, but it is just a quiet, nice little neighborhood that you might want to check out. If you're interested in the fairy tale house, it is listed at $770,000. It's just under 3,000 square feet. Has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. There's kind of 4 bedrooms in there, but they couldn't really call it official 4th bedroom. But really cool house, very unique. Obviously, 1 in a million find there. So if you know someone that wants to buy it, let me know. It'd be a lot of fun to check it out with you. But anyways, that's your tour here of Silverton, Oregon. Lots of unique places to go look at here, not just houses like the fairy tale house versus your standard houses, but also Beautiful scenery around in the area with the Cascade Mountain Ranges, just literally at the footstep of the city. Silver Creek Falls and other areas to go out and explore just right away as you get here. So I hope you enjoyed the tour and got a lot out of it. If you have any more questions about Silverton, Oregon, leave those in the comments. I'll respond to all of them and try to answer any questions you might have. But for now, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you around town.